Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hidayah binti Mazlan and I will start the presentation. What is supply chain? Supply chain is the interlinked organizations involved in the creation, distribution and sales of goods or services. The sequence of the supply chain begins with basic suppliers and extends all the way to the final customer. The diagram above shows the sequence of the supply chain. The meaning of supply chain and the meaning of supply chain management are different. SCM is the management of the flow of goods and services and includes all processes that transform raw materials into final products. Mostly, retail companies become involved in supply chain management to control product quality, inventory levels, timing, and expenses. There are four objectives of supply chain management. First, lead to performance improvement for organization. This may help the organization to build and maintain the good reputation. Second, drive customer value. Customer value is the satisfaction a consumer feels after making a purchase for goods or services. Third, to make inventory readily available in customer-facing position to fulfill demand. And lastly, to contribute to the financial success of the organization. Okay, now I will proceed to the next slide, which is factors influencing supply chain management. First, consumer demand. Consumer demand is the most important factors in order to identify the quantity of finished goods that should be produced. Second, globalization. Globalization means the source of materials is from other countries in order to gain advantage from price differences in different countries. Third is information. Information connects various entities involved in supply chain and allow them to coordinate activities. Fourth is government regulation. Each regulation and policies can act as a barrier and limit the production of goods. Lastly is technology. Technological advancement may enhance supply chain management. What is effective supply chain management? Effective supply chain management can assist an organization to decrease the power of its buyers, increase its own supplier power, increase switching costs, and create entry barriers. In this slide, effective supply chain management involves managing costs, accelerating the time to market of new products, creating close relationship with suppliers and customers, and lastly, measuring the performance of activities, suppliers, and customers. Okay, we proceed to the next slide, which is e-commerce enhanced supply chain management. E-commerce is known as electronic commerce. E-commerce is the process by which organizations conduct their business over electronic systems such as internet. There are four e-commerce activities which are B2B, EDI, B2C and ERP. I will explain the details for each activities. First is B2B. B2B is business to business. B2B is e-commerce activities that take place between a business and its suppliers and customers. B2B may lead to enhanced communications coordination across the supply chain. Next is EDI. EDI is electronic data interchange. EDI is a computer-to-computer exchange of standard business document such as purchase order in a standard electronic format between business partners. It can improve customer service and increase productivity. B2C is business to consumer. B2C is e-commerce activities that exchange between a business and its non-business customers. B2C is a process of selling products or services over an electronic network, such as online shopping and online banking. It may reduce operational costs. And lastly is ERP. ERP is Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP uses a centralized database for various business processes to reduce manual labor and to simplify existing business workflow. ERP assists an organization to achieve efficient supply chain management. There are 4 benefits of supply chain management. First, improve product quality. Second, enhance supply chain network. Third, improve delivery performance. And lastly, reducing transportation costs. There are some limitations of supply chain management. First, integrating the supply chain and choosing the correct suppliers is difficult. Second, supply chain management is costly because every stage needs an expertise. Third, various functions may be difficult to manage. And lastly, difficult to decide outsource or insource.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Najihah Karim and I will explain about managing supplier. There are 5 steps involved in managing supplier. The first one is relationship with supplier. Second, selecting supplier. Third, analyzing supplier costs. Fourth, calculating the total cost of ownership. And the last step is evaluating supplier performance. And I will explain in detail each step in the next slide. The first step is relationship with supplier. Company needs to develop good relationship with supplier. This helps to minimize supplier and inventory related costs. This also enables them to enhance the product quality as well as improve production lead time. Relationship with supplier leads to strategic alliance. Strategic alliance is the formal agreement between 2 or more organizations to share resources in order to achieve common objectives. Second step in managing supplier is selecting supplier. In selecting supplier, company needs to consider 5 main criteria. The first criteria is reliable. Company need to select reliable supplier which able to meeting specific quality required and also can meet the delivery schedule. Second is price. Company also need to identify which supplier offered cheapest material for a good quality of product. Third, company also need to look into supplier historical performance. Company need to ensure that the supplier have history of good performance, experienced supplier, and also recommended by consumer. Supplier also need to have effective communication system to avoid any miscommunication with supplier. The last criteria is location. Company need to select supplier who have strategic location and easy to access. This helps in reduced transportation costs bear by the company. If any problem happen, company able to assess the supplier. The third step in managing supplier is analyzing supplier. How to analyze supplier? Cost dealing with supplier exclude the purchase price of material equal to total cost of ownership. Total cost of ownership includes cost of delivery failure, cost of poor quality, cost of holding inventory, and also cost of purchasing. Activity-based costing or ABC technique can be used to determine the total cost of ownership. The fourth step in managing supplier is calculating the total cost of ownership. There are 3 levels involved of supplier activity and costs incurred by a buying organization. The first level is unit level activity. Unit level activity is activities that occur as a result of a problem related to fault quality or late delivery of material by supplier. This may lead to internal and external failure. Second, order level activity. This activity triggered each time order is placed with particular supplier. For example, ordering, receiving, inspect order, and pay to supplier. The third level is supplier level activities. These activities incurred over the course of a supplier contract. For example, undertaking quality audit to evaluate the supplier, research and development activity that relate specifically. The last step in managing supplier is evaluating supplier performance. Normally, the company will use Supplier Performance Index (SPI) in evaluating supplier performance. SPI is the ratio of supplier cost to total purchase price. The formula is SPI equal to total purchase price plus non-performance cost divided by total purchase price. Non-performance costs are generally per incident standard cost for late delivery, order shipped incomplete, quality problem, and are based upon such things as rework costs, a line shutdown, lost customer sales, inspection, and return costs. In evaluating supplier performance, we also measure supplier performance. Below are the examples to measure and evaluate the supplier performance. In terms of delivery, we use percentage of order delivered on time and average lead time for deliveries as measurement. Second, measurement on the quality. We use the percentage of order rejected and achievement of quality certificate. Third, in terms of cost, measure using percentage reduction in price of material supply and also manufacturing cost reduction targets. They also measure the supplier organizational change by looking at the implementation of team structure. Lastly, they also use the relationship to measure the supplier performance. They use supplier satisfaction survey, number of days of downtime due to industrial activity.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Nawwar Mansor. So I will present on the managing inventory. Actually, Managing inventory is important to a supply chain management since it can help the business to reduce the cost of operation, such as manufacturing costs and supplier costs. For managing inventory, I will explain the traditional approaches in managing inventory and just-in-time system. These are the reasons why we hold inventory. First is uncertainties in customer demand and production process. It acts as buffer against the possibility of running out of materials and finished products. Second reason is quantity discounts, which it qualify for discounts available on large order. The third one is raw material price. It is to avoid future price increase in future. Moreover, holding an inventory can avoid small order costs that is associated with placing numerous relatively small orders with suppliers. I will start the presentation with traditional approaches. So under traditional approaches, I will describe about economic order quantity and optimum order quantity, classes of cost and their examples, total annual cost and EOQ formula, timing of order under EOQ, and assumptions on EOQ. Let's first discuss what is economic order quantity and optimum order size. Basically, economic order quantity (EOQ) is used in managing inventory to minimize the cost of inventory. EOQ also helps to determine the optimum order size for individual inventory items. On top of that, optimum order size can minimize the total of ordering costs and carrying costs. This is the classes of costs. The first one is ordering cost. Ordering cost is the incremental cost of placing an order. The second one is carrying cost. Carrying cost is the cost of holding the inventory. Next is shortage cost. It is the cost of running out of inventory. So, this is the example classes of costs. We have ordering cost for inventory that is purchased, carrying cost, ordering cost for the inventory that is manufactured in-house, and also shortage cost. The example of ordering cost for inventory that is purchased is cost of finding suitable suppliers, as well as clerical cost of preparing purchase order. Next is example for carrying costs. It includes storage costs and handling costs. On top of that, the ordering cost for the inventory that is manufactured in-house is clerical cost of preparing the work order and the cost of setting up for production. Last but not least, the example for shortage cost is lost sales for the current and future and wages of idle workers. So, these are the formula for calculating the total annual cost and the economic order quantity. Total annual cost is derived from the ordering cost plus with the carrying cost. To calculate the ordering cost, we should know the annual requirement, divide with order quantity, multiply with cost per order. While for the carrying cost, we must know the annual quantity that we can use from economic order quantity, divide with 2 times with annual carrying cost per unit. Okay, now let's discuss about the formula of economic order quantity. To calculate the economic order quantity, we must identify the following. The first one is annual demands in units. Next is cost per order in value. And then we have cost per unit also in value. Holding costs in percent as well as holding costs in value. To calculate holding costs in value, we need to multiply the percentage of holding costs with the cost per unit. These are the timing of orders under EOQ. We have inventory reorder point, ROP, and lead time. Inventory reorder point is the quantity of inventory on hand that triggers the placement a new order from a supplier, while the lead time is the length of time between placing an order and receiving an order. To calculate ROP, we need to identify the inventory used per period of time multiplied with order lead time. We also have safety stock, which is the extra inventory to cover above average usage. Okay, now let's look at the assumptions on EOQ. The first one is inventory usage or customer demand is known and constant. The second one is incremental ordering costs are known and constant per order. The third one is acquisition cost per unit is constant. Next is the entire order is delivered at one time. The carrying cost is known and is constant per unit. Last but not least is on average, one half of the inventory order quantity is in stock at any one time. Let's proceed with just-in-time system, JIT. I will explain the definition and objectives of just-in-time, the key features of just-in-time system, and the benefit and limitations of JIT. What is just-in-time? Just-in-time is a comprehensive system for controlling the flow of manufacturing in a multi-stage production environment. It is also a strategy to increase the efficiency and decrease waste by receiving goods only as they are needed in the production. So the objective of JIT is to eliminate the waste in manufacturing the inventory, as well as develop a reliable relationship between the suppliers. Basically, this is the key features of JIT system. Number 1, JIT is a pull method of coordinating production. Number 2, it is a simplified production processes. So the third one is JIT include the process of purchase of materials and manufacture of sub-assemblies and product in small lots. JIT also is a quick and inexpensive setups of production machinery. Besides that, JIT ensure the high quality levels for raw materials, components, and finished product. We also can see that JIT system is an effective preventive maintenance of equipment, and it is a flexible work teams. So now let's take a look at the benefits and limitations of JIT. For the benefits, the first one is less space needed for storage. Therefore, the company can reduce the storage costs. Second, since it is just-in-time method, it will make the process easier to switch to different product. Besides that, when we only order the quantity that we needed, therefore, we actually only made a small investment. Last but not least, JIT techniques is actually to promote the waste reduction. Now, let's see the limitations of JIT. So the first one is risk of running out of stock. This is maybe due to the supplier cannot provide the stock on time. The second one is lack of control over time. And then the company need to pay more the wage for the employee. The next limitation is more planning is required. Such as the company need to have a proper allocation of employee in managing the stocks and operations. Last but not least is natural disaster, as we cannot predict what will happen in the future.
Assalamualaikum. I Najihah Karim and I will explain the application to industry. The Coca-Cola Company is one of the company who adopt supply chain management in industry. The Coca-Cola Company is one of the largest beverage retailer, manufacturer and marketer of non-alcoholic beverage concentrates and syrup. Coca-Cola Company currently offer more than 500 brands in over 200 countries. The example, Diet Coke, Fanta, Sprite, Dasani, and many more. The Coca-Cola Company adopted supply chain management in managing the business. There are 5 processes involved in supply chain management of Coca-Cola. The first one, supplier supply goods such as flavor, aluminium, and bottles to Coca-Cola. Secondly, the process of manufacturing the drinks in Coca-Cola's company. The process involves mixing all sufficient ingredients received from supplier. Thirdly, process of storing finished goods to warehouse. Next process is process of distribution of product. They distribute them to the vending machine and retailer such as supermarket and convenience store. The last process is delivering goods to supplier. I think that's all from me.